Here's James Smith. He's a Republican from Missouri, and he's talking to acting Office Management and Budget Director on birthing people. She used the term birthing people, and he was, like many of us, a little confused.
Go to another issue. The budget requests $26 million to reduce maternal mortality and eliminate race-based disparities in outcomes among, quote, birthing people. This is a shift from recent budgets, which referred to maternal health issues as women's issues. I've never heard the term before. Can you explain what it means?
Absolutely. There are certain people who do not have gender identities that apply to female or male.
There are certain people who do not have gender identities that apply to female or male. The question is, why do you use the term birthing people? So can we just kind of get to that?
Absolutely. There are certain people who do not have gender identities that apply to female or male. So we think our language needs to be more inclusive in how we deal with complex issues. I think the underlying issue is most important that your colleagues, Lauren Underwood and others, are working on, is to try to ensure that those of color who are giving birth leave the hospital alive. And that's the issue rather than the verbiage. The verbiage matters, but the underlying issue is extremely important, and a lot of your colleagues are working hard on this because all of those giving birth should have access to the same quality health care.
So is the administration's official policy to replace the term woman with birthing people?
I think our official policy is to make sure when people get service from their government that they feel included, and we're trying to use inclusive language.
Wow. Wow.
Replace the term woman with birthing people?
I think our official policy is to make sure when people get service from their government that they feel included, and we're trying to use inclusive language.
Okay, interesting.
Noticing a pattern here? Unintelligible comments made by people with a straight face in hopes, often successfully, that no one's going to say anything.
You talked about the importance of defining racism, but I, unless I missed it, which is possible, I didn't hear your personal definition. Is there one that you would offer us? Like, how do you define racism?
Sure. So racism, I would define it as a collection of racist policies that lead to racial inequity that are substantiated by racist ideas. Sure. A collection of racist policies that lead to racial inequity that are substantiated by racist ideas. And anti-racism is pretty simple, using the same terms. Anti-racism is a collection of anti-racist policies leading to racial, anybody want to take a guess? Equity that are substantiated by anti-racist ideas.
Attorney General Barr, you started your testimony with eloquent words about the life and legacy of John Lewis fighting systematic racism, voter intimidation, civil rights. The one thing that you have in common with your two predecessors, both Attorney General Sessions and Attorney General Whitaker, is that when you all came here and brought your top staff, you brought no black people. That, sir, is systematic racism. That is exactly what John Lewis spent his life fighting.
So, coming to a meeting and not bringing black people is systematic racism. Racism is racist policies that cause racist results based on racist thoughts. Birthing people are people who birth, and we want to make sure that we use inclusive language because some people who birth are confused about gender identity. And so to make them feel welcome as they birth, we're going to call them birthing people, whether they choose to birth or not. To birth or not to birth. It's whether or not you are called, if not called, a birthing person. To be inclusive. Understood? Capiche? I'm Larry Elder.